I wanted to take a time to give a shout out to both the late Earl Graves Sr. and to John H. Johnson, two strong African American businessmen who both ran magazines. And if you were around 70s, 80s, up into the 90s, you were aware. Earl Graves Sr., if you Black Enterprise magazine was a big time magazine. Stories about it. My grandfather used to have a bar in Buffalo, New York, and a bar and tavern. And he used to subscribe to Earl Graves' Black Enterprise magazine. It was like a fixture. It was a fascinating fixture, to see it in black and white. Of course, I remember Mr. Graves with those distinctive sideburns and uh, very knowledgeable, very in depth, and just someone that you really felt like a wow, like you had heard, and because at that time we got to talk about an era with none of the technology you have now. Uh, the opportunities weren't as you know. So to have that kind of a situation was incredible for a talent like that to emerge. John H. Johnson, who owned Ebony and Jet, that was a fixture in the house growing up. The big Ebony, the small ones, the Jet magazines, all that. Uh, and the both of them were symbolisms of a mindset of upward mobility. Now these guys were competitive, but they were friends. This goes to show you that you could do business and be very successful. And as in the journalist world, in the magazine world, with the opportunities and with the possibilities, just reading up on so much of what was happening. And they were at the forefront of so much of it because in black enterprises, you were learning where the jobs were, where the market was, and how to be self sufficient and to also uh, to communist, to what I want consumerism is what I wanted to say, and the ability to use your wealth or where you're going with it. John H. Johnson always was promoting it, publishing, and also talking about the foundation of commerce, and also using that ability to prolong wealth and to keep it in family and so on and so forth. So very powerful, um, very engaging, very enriching, very enlightening. Um, and I think about both of them. Like I said, those magazines, I had my head in the magazines, was reading, observing, understanding about when they were talking about publishing and when they were talking about what they had created and how the interest was so broad. And, you can't begin enough to say thank you enough for two men who definitely paved the way and two who also, you know, challenged the status quo. Because a lot of times the people don't really understand that time. For that time, for two black men to have their own businesses and to thrive, and those magazines are sold all over the country, spoke volumes. It spoke volumes. It's still quite an accomplishment what those guys accomplished in terms of the not only the loyalty of the consumers, but also the conversations and what they did and how it all just, reflected in totality. So I wanted to take the time to just acknowledge that. And it's just sometimes great to go back down memory lane. And I've talked about them both before. I just haven't don't recall putting them two together. But in this particular time, I wanted to give them both a shout out because their magazines were definitely a fixture in households I grew up in growing up. So respect to Earl G. Graves Sr. and to John Johnson, respectively. Uh, Black Enterprise and Ebony Magazine and Jet, for those who don't know. And Google it, and there's a lot of great stories and a lot of history between the two. Stay safe, stay blessed, wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another. Please hit the subscribes. Stay blessed, stay clear, stay cool, stay woke, and hit that membership when you do. Requests I will bring forth to you. I'm out one time. Peace.